Folks, just like that, we are 3.5 weeks away from the season starting, 24 days to be exact. But today, Nightmare Ball of One, Markeem, or an original here on the podcast, is back, waving folks that you can see. And we're going to get right into it today because something that came up last night, the NFL 100 players list. And who knew that a list that the players come up with would irk the people who probably have never played a down of even high school football or Pee Wee football in their lives.
All right, Griff, I don't have it in front of me. Let's run through it real quick.
Okay, I got it. So this is the top, not top 100, but this is like the top 50 of the 100. It goes
Voted
Kyle.
on by the players. Keep that
Yes, voted on by the players. Kyle Juszczyk, Kirk Cousins, David Montgomery,
in mind.
Leonard Williams.
Whoa. Kirk Cousins?
Yep, 98.9.
No.
Then David Montgomery, Leonard Williams, Jimmy Ward,
Okay.
CeeDee Lamb,
Okay.
Justin Tucker,
Okay.
Von Miller, Tyrone Smith, Kyle Pitts.
Von Miller. My man's kind of watched, man. I don't know.
The Buffalo Bills don't think so. That's why they gave him all his money, even though his contract's really a 3-year deal.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, I guess low tier 100. That's fine. Justin Tucker's in a good spot. Kirk Cousins shouldn't be on this list. So far, I don't have any big objections, but go ahead.
Okay, number 90 is OBJ, Marshawn Lattimore, Jonathan Allen, Denzel Ward, Shaquille Barrett. But here's where stuff got really spicy because at 85 was Mac Jones. This is the one that pissed a lot of people off.
Okay. Did he do much last year? The answer is probably not. But he was the quarterback of a good playoff team. Like, I mean, look. Who would you rather have? Mac Jones or Kirk Cousins? Who was also in this league, you know what I mean? Easily. So, he's the second quarterback on the board? Second quarterback we've gone through so far?
Yeah, Mac is the second quarterback.
What's wrong with that? That's okay. Of the rookies, he had the best season.
Yeah.
What's the problem? I don't understand. It's fine.
I think it's just the one angle I don't like is how people are being like, Bills fans basically came out and said, oh, he didn't play good against us and we kicked his ass in the playoffs. He doesn't deserve to be on his list. It's like, okay, if we're going off of
it's
that
the whole
sample
season,
size,
though. It's the totality of the season. It's
exactly.
Not just 2 games.
And did he do anything spectacular? No. But if you look at the games where they won by significant margins, he had days that you look at and we're like, okay, he may not have thrown. He didn't have a whole lot of 300-yard games, but in a lot of his games, his completion percentage was good. He had a good QBR, and he manages to make passes. He's basically one of those guys where he'll go out there and just be a field general and kind of like, hey.
We don't know what he is. We have no clue what he is yet. I feel like 85 is fair. He was a solid QB in my opinion, especially for a rookie on a 100%. Playoff.
He made the playoffs. He was the only rookie quarterback to make the playoffs. That's the other thing too I want to address right now, and I want to get your take on this.
I know what people are thinking. I just buried Kirk Cousins, but like he's proven to be a good quarterback for most of his career. Last year was not a banner year for him, but he's proven to be. You know what I mean? But it's Kirk Cousins, man.
It is, but Kirk Cousins also too has a player on his team that's probably going to be in the top 10 of this list released later this week. So. None of Mac's weapons are probably going to be in the top. Maybe one, if that, but I doubt any of his other weapons are going to be in the top in the top conversation.
But yeah, man, it's fine. People trip about nothing.
I also want to say this. I don't understand the people who say that the fact that the Patriots got their ass kicked in the playoffs is, they're going to be bad next year. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Even though I know people like to point out, Bill's the worst record without Tom Brady than with Tom Brady. At the end of the day, it's still Bill Belichick.
Do people not realize that for 20 years they were together? So they weren't good. They weren't a good team at all until the Brady year. There was expectations that season for them to be a good team. The Brady year, you know what I mean? He's never had a team that before Brady that you would consider good. That's why his record was bad, but whatever.
Even this year too, like I'll say this as a Patriots fan, I'm not coming on here saying they're going to make the Super Bowl. No, I'm just hoping for getting the playoffs and win a game. That's my ceiling for the season.
Well, I mean,
We'll see.
It's the AFC's tough, man. I can't guarantee that will happen.
No, that's why I'm saying ceiling. Just moving on with this list, 84 is Mr. I want to trade of Roquan Smith.
I want to trade.
Wyatt Teller, Kenny Moore II, Justin Simmons. That wraps up 80. Actually, that part. And then James Conner, Rashawn Slater, Trey Hendrickson, Darius Slay, Brian Burns, Antoine Winfield Jr., a player who I actually think is quite underrated in the league, Demario Davis at 74. Cordero Patterson, Quandre Diggs, and then Jason Kelsey. Another, you don't even say two. He's
all fine. I'm not upset.
Tyrann Mathieu, Cameron Jordan, Zach Martin.
Matthew.
Yeah.
I don't know about this high. I mean, he's good to miss a couple games, man. He's good for. He missed a few games last year, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was hurt for that middle part of the season. I think
like a significant amount of time. All right, whatever. All
right. Buda Baker at 67. DeForest Buckner at 66. Derek Carr, Devin White, Jalen Waddle, Chandler Jones, and then Russell Wilson at 61.
Ooh, Russell Wilson. Oh, I mean, I know he's been hurt, but that just feels weird. Like 61? All right.
Corey Linsley.
That feels weird. It feels saying something like that out loud. That's weird, man. This is still Russell Wilson.
It does. I think people just look at like the season that Seattle had as a whole, and they're kind of like, okay, we can push him down the list. Because if you look at the quarterbacks on this list that are probably going to be higher, you're probably going to have Mahomes, you're going to have Allen, you're going to have probably Burrow, Brady, Rodgers. Herbert.
You said Burrow, right? Lamar Jackson definitely going to be higher.
Yep. Maybe Dak Prescott.
No, Dak Prescott definitely. I guess that's fair. Man. Man, this just. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to the Broncos.
So it goes, and then it goes Max Crosby, Darren Waller, and then Kyler Murray at 57, which I agree with.
All right, I'm still talking. My cam's gonna be breaking, but my cam is gonna be blank for a second.
Go ahead. Pardon me?
Cam is off for a second. Go ahead.
Okay. Kyler Murray at 57, I'm okay with. Xavier Howard, Joel Bettino, and then the last four are Jeffrey Simmons, Mike Evans, Matt Judon, and Alvin Kamara.
It's fine. It's fine so far. Nothing crazy. It won't get like controversial until we get like to the you remember last year everybody was upset with the top 25. That's when we'll start getting upset and stuff. But so far, fine.
Oh, Matt Stafford's another quarterback you can probably add in the top 50.
Yeah, he's probably Mac Jones being 85, I guess triggers people. Whatever. Quarterback of a playoff team, fine.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't understand how people are getting. That's the whole thing I was trying to say earlier. Is how is a list that is made by the people who play the game with these guys at this elite level? They're doing the rankings, but then the fans are going, "Oh, this list sucks. This list is this." It's the players' list. It's not like they're doing. If they're doing reporters and stuff, it'd be different.
To be fair, let's be honest. Players kind of suck at evaluating talent.
Fair.
They just do. Like, did you hear what Tyreek Hill said?
Yep. Oh, I've been all over that.
Like, what are we doing? Like, look. I think Tua is not as bad as people say, but you were playing with the best quarterback in the league and one of the most talented quarterbacks to ever live, and you got the nerve to say that this dude is more accurate than that guy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh man.
I think it's just trying to talk your guy up. It's trying to talk your guy up. That's honestly what I think he's trying to do.
That's fine. That's fine. But pro athletes are stupid. Can we just call it what it is? They're stupid. Yep. They're dumb. There's a select few of them that are worth listening to. To be honest with you, most of them. When I heard him say that, I was like, I don't need him to talk anymore, like ever about anything. I don't care.
That's like most NFL, even reporters or people who analyze the game. Like, it's literally a point of like, okay, we're doing this, but why? It's like one of those things too, where it's like, okay, did you really need to open your mouth there and say that? Like, that's the reason too why I was getting irked, was not the fans getting mad, but it was like literally last week first. So first take right now, all those shows have like the B squad on CT because the obvious folks are on vacation or they're just coming back, like Stephen A did today.
Stephen A just came back today.
But literally last week, a guy named, it's either Henry or Harry Douglas, basically went on the air and said that the Miami Dolphins are going to be better than the Patriots this year solely because of that playoff
segment.
game.
I saw that whole segment.
That's no. Why are we? If we're saying this, then Philly's going to be bad because they got their asses kicked by the Bucs in the playoffs. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be bad because Kansas City whooped their ass. Like, there's just all this stuff where it's just like one game is not going to mold you. I still look at. This is a take from me as a fan. I want to see what you think as an outsider to these two teams. I think that game was just nothing could go right for New England, and everything that could go right for Buffalo went right.
And Buffalo is just the better team.
Yes.
Sometimes that's just the case. That doesn't mean I looked before in preparation for this whole situation. I was like, okay, who's the favorite to win the Super Bowl this year? So I'm looking at all these lists. I'm looking at Vegas, all these people. The Bills are number one on everyone's list.
Yeah.
This is the team that people expect to win this whole thing. Nobody in their right mind is saying that the Patriots are going to win this whole thing. They are if you really think they're the best team in football or one of the best like they were last year, they did what they were supposed to. That doesn't mean the Patriots are bad. They just did what they were supposed to.
I want to say one other thing when it comes. I'm just trying to find the odds.
People always look to point the finger at like maybe sometimes the better team is just better. Maybe that's just what happened.
Like if you look right here, the top three Super Bowl odds are the Bills, the Bucs, and the Chiefs. This is all FanDuel, plus 650, plus 750, plus 1,000. There's some other teams down the list here that I'll get into that I think could win the Super Bowl this year, and I don't say that like one, and I want to get your opinion on this. But Baltimore at plus 2,000.
Look, man, if they were healthy last year, I think it probably would have been them and fucking Kansas City playing for berth. You know what I mean? Who knows? Like they look like among the best teams last year. They just all got hurt at a bad time.
Even with all the injuries they had in training camp, they still were 6-2 at one point in the season. Yeah. So a completely healthy Ravens team. Also, too, I'm excited to see from them because they have Mike McDonald, the Michigan defensive coordinator. So I'm excited to see what he brings to that defense. Because now Wink's out, it's going to be a different scheme and all that stuff. So I'm excited to see that. But when I look at the Bills, also here's the other thing with the Bills last year. Their season was a disappointment. I don't look at the New England Patriots. It was a disappointing finish, but the season as a whole, I give a plus grade to because I didn't expect them to be 10-7 and make the playoffs. So I said, okay, it'd be great if they did. I want to say one other thing with Buffalo. I want to get your opinion on it. Do you think that saying that their 13-second revenge is like BS, or is it just poor coaching that cost them the game? Everyone going, oh, they couldn't do anything to stop Mahomes. I honestly think if they squib kicked it down the middle instead of booming it to the back of the end zone, they are going to the AFC Championship.
You run so much time off the clock. Like the clock is like at like 7-8 seconds at that point. Like it's like oh man, you're right.
It's one of those like Kansas City would need that Hollywood ending, where they show the clock.
Absolutely.
And it's like slowly going like 7, 6, 5, but it's like taking
it would have took something like the Music City Miracle for them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you're absolutely right. It was bad coaching.
Yeah, I
didn't think about it, Griff. You're right.
Yeah, because that's the other thing too. With now they changed the overtime rules where both teams get a possession. Where my thing is like play the defense. Like how everyone looks at it is like, oh, they lost the coin toss, but they lost. But in reality, I do agree with the fact that whoever won that coin toss is probably going to win the game because the defenses were just completely gassed. Because that was Big 12 football at its finest, 42-36. But I just don't like how people go and say a flip of a coin stopped Josh Allen. Like how, do you remember the 2018 AFC Championship game well?
2018 AFC
Patriots Chiefs. Patriots won in overtime.
Yeah.
The one thing that everyone says about that game with Mahomes didn't get the ball, but the one thing to point out in that game, if you go back and watch the highlights, Brady converted 3 third and longs in overtime to march the Patriots down the field. So
I do remember that. Yeah, I remember me and Phil, Nightmare 10. Y'all know him. We was talking about it, and it like straight up, like if they would have just stopped them, we have a different conversation. Like I understand that the defense is at a disadvantage in that situation, but you still got to step up. There's still two sides of the ball. You still have to play defense. I understand it's wrong. Like you go to work every day and the situation isn't ideal, but you still do the job. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah. You got to go out there and you got to get the job done.
Like I'm not saying it's their because like in situations like that, I'm not necessarily saying it's their fault, but you can't make excuses. Like you didn't stop them. You didn't stop them.
Yeah. I'm going to say this for this year. I'm not going to give my official preview to now, but I look after the Bills and I see the Bucs and the Chiefs. I'm just here like no one's talking about Tampa. No one's talking about KC. I feel like teams like that can do the most damage when no one's expecting them to do any damage. The Patriots, Tom Brady's been doing it his entire career. Big Rat has said this multiple times.
Y'all ready for my hot take on the show? You set it up. I was going to wait on it.
Go ahead.
Wait on it. This is finally the year that Tom Brady is an old man. This is when it happens. Because the longer you stay, the worse it will look. He had a chance to walk off looking respectable. Like the last year, he looked a little beat up in that game, but he still played well. He played well enough to win it. And if he would have just walked off then, people would have been like, oh, Tom Brady with a Herculean effort almost got him. But now, look, he contemplated not coming back for like, what was it, like 3 months? It was like something like
6
that.
weeks.
Oh well, it was a while. It was long enough. You know what I mean? And then you have him a year older. You know what I'm saying? His mind was almost not even. Yeah, exactly. Like his mind was almost not even into football at all. You know what I mean? And then you expect him to come and play a 17 game season plus the playoffs, like with fucking Todd Bowles. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like this is the year. This is the time where I wish he honestly, I respect the shit out of Tom Brady. I think he's a little overrated, a little bit, but I respect the shit out of Tom Brady. And I wish he would have just been the first quarterback to walk off at the peak of his powers. Because no one else has done it. And he would have been, to me, that would have been like, yo, there's no debate. You can't say anything about this man. This is the greatest quarterback of all time. And like I really feel like it hasn't happened yet, but I really feel like this is the year where like, you know, because everyone talks about his decline. And he has declined. Like I think that's obvious. Like physically he's declined. He's only human. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The Tom Brady that used to throw lasers 60 yards down the field is dead. He is dinking and dunking all the way down the field now.
He's been doing that his entire time in Tampa. Like he still makes some big plays, sure, but a lot of the games that he's had to play, he's just been doing dink and dunk. It's his typical, just like your typical 2-minute offense. He's just doing 2-minute drills. I still think
expect this old man to just be MVP candidate Tom Brady after he almost didn't even come back. Like this is the year. I'm telling you, this is the year. I don't want it to be the year, but this is the year.
I don't want it to be either. I still think he came back, not because of anything, because I know some people were jokingly saying, oh, he probably got sick and tired of his family. I think the fact that his retirement got leaked by Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington of ESPN.
Yeah, I think it was just pride. Pride.
So you know how I don't know if you saw it, but you know the Man in the Arena show, obviously, that ESPN did, right?
Yeah.
I still think there's an alternate universe where there's a copy somewhere in the vault in Bristol of him announcing it on the show. I'm walking away. That's it. But I think the fact that they leaked it and he had to do the whole retirement thing and they need to say he's back, I just think it's literally coming back just so that he can retire on his own terms. I don't think he wants someone to being like, oh, hey, like, you know how Chris Mortensen got the scoop that Peyton Manning was retiring back in 2016? I think with this, Tom wants to go out when Tom wants to go out. I don't think it's going to be, oh, ESPN's reporting Tom Brady's retiring, and then it turned into this whole fest of just, oh my God, where I was out running errands and I just happened to check Twitter and see it, which I'm really glad I didn't see it. Like getting word of it. So say if someone messaged me, oh, did you see Tom retired? I'm like, wait, like I have to do the wait, what? I'm glad I found out on my own. Meanwhile, now I can see a world where, he struggles. I think Todd Bowles is going to be, who's a good head coach that was fired first, and then, oh, yes, let's do a perfect example because it's recent. Pat Shurmur. Remember when he was the head coach in, where was it? Cleveland, and he was horrible, but then he was an OC, and everyone was like, he's revitalized himself. He's good again. Then he goes to the Giants and lays an egg for a couple of years. It's going to be the same thing over again with him in Tampa. I just think that's the other thing, too. I do believe not that the Stephen Ross bullshit that occurred, but I do think that Bruce Arians doesn't magically retire 2.5 weeks after Tom comes back. I think Tom and Bruce just did not get along, and Tom, basically did what Robert Kraft wouldn't do. He forced ownership's hand to make a change.
Yeah. I think that the team is also worse, too. Dealing with injuries coming into the year. You know what I mean? Like,
no tight end.
No tight end. His best receiver is gonna miss like fucking 4 or 5 weeks, something like that.
And for everybody out here saying that Julio Jones is going to be playing like 2016, 2017 self, like no. Julio's
because Tom Brady of 2010, 2011 could get that out of him. Tom Brady got that out of Randy Moss because we all thought Randy was done. And then magically Tom Brady gets his best season out of him. You know what I mean? Julio Jones, we all think he's done. Tom ain't that dude no more. We're not going to get, fucking 2015 Julio. It's not going to happen.
No.
You know what I mean?
Like, Julio's going to be
He looks done, and I think he's done.
You know what's going to happen? Week 1, I know you're not not big into fantasy or whatever, but I know with Julio, it's going to be one of those cases where he can cook. He's going to cook Trayvon Diggs a few times week 1 in that game against Dallas. And then everyone's going to be like, oh, my God, I have to go get Julio. And then, next week he does nothing. I just think I think it's Mike Evans' show until Chris Godwin's back to 100%. But who knows when that's going to be. And also, we see this all the time. Guys' first season off knee injuries aren't exactly the best. Quote Big Red on that. He said that numerous times on the show. I use the kids' quotes a lot. But the other thing with the NFC South is, too, because I'm going to say this. We know Atlanta's going to be garbage. I know Arthur Smith keeps saying, we ignore the outside noise. No, they're going to be like a 2-3 win team max. They're probably going to have CJ Stroud as their quarterback next year.
I'm not gonna lie though. I am kind of curious to see how that offense looks. Like just to see what they try to do. Because the cupboard is bare there. Completely bare.
This may be a hot take, or not a hot take, but I want to ask you, who do you think would be better? Who do you think is going to have a better year as head coach? Not better team record, but better year as head coach. Do you think it'll be Todd Bowles, or do you think it'll be Dennis Allen in New Orleans?
Oh, that's a good question. I think you mean in terms of like just doing the job?
Yeah. Overall, doing the job.
I mean, they both kind of stink, man. I think I would have to go with Allen. I think I would have to. Just because there's expectations a little bit in Tampa because you have Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone's I think people think the Saints will be respectable, but I don't think anyone thinks they're going to be, anything great. I don't think anyone. I think everyone thinks that's Tampa's division to lose. Period. You know what I mean? So if the Saints give you anything competitive, it's a win. You know what I mean? So.
I still think the Saints are going to be a team where, look, they're not going to impress you, but they're going to be a team where their defense is going to win them a few games. They still have a really competent defense. They still have Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis, Marcus Davenport. They added Tyrann Mathieu, which I know is not saying a lot, but you also have him, Marshawn Lattimore. They're going to be a team that's going to win somewhere between, I'd say, 8 to 10 games, but they're going to be that team that's right on that bubble of the wild card. And with all the doubts with some of the teams in the NFC, what's stopping them from getting a playoff spot?
Yeah, all the doubts of some of the teams in the NFC.
Yeah, well, because if you had to look right now and be like, these are the surefire playoff teams in the AFC, you'd probably say who? NFC, excuse me. Say LA. Green Bay.
LA.
Tampa.
Is that it? Is that it, honestly?
That's probably the one.
Surefire.
Right now, you can confidently say they'll be playing playoff football. There's San Francisco, I don't want to say because I'm honestly a little bullish on Trae Young. I think that, I don't get why they just kicked Jimmy to the curb. I understand you traded all that draft capital for Trey Lance, but he got you to the NFC.
He said Trae.
Yeah.
Think about basketball, Griff. Think about you said Trae Young the first.
My bad. Trey Lance, not Young. That's the thing. I'm kind of bullish on Trae Young. I know a lot of people are like buying in on him. I said Lance.
You said Young again. You
Oh.
said it again. I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. It's okay.
Yeah, Trey Lance. I'm just curious to see too how like they use like Debo in that offense, how it looks without Mike McDaniel. Remember the quote from you months ago, you can't teach a 3-year-old how to weld because Brian Greasy is going to be the quarterback coach.
Oh, my God. Trey Lance, second-year player, has to learn how to be an NFL quarterback from Brian Greasy. Okay. All right, man.
I'm calling the episode Trae Young, by the way. I have to now. But and then you look at Arizona, and then you like. Did you see all the Kyler Murray Call of Duty stuff?
Yeah, I saw.
Like
that whole situation, man, I think it's at a point where like one more thing, and then we'll know everything going on in that locker room.
You know, it's literally like throwing gas on a fire. All you've basically laid the kerosene out. All you need is just that one match to spark. Yeah. And like you said, all hell's gonna break loose. Like I feel like the Arizona Cardinals are the team that they always try to avoid disorganization, chaos, and dysfunction, but they always seem to find themselves in the middle of it.
Yeah, true. That's a good point. It's been like that since I've been alive. You're right.
Yeah. And like even I've said this too numerous times on this show that like look at Steve Keim's draft record from since he took over as GM in 2013. He's got like 3 picks that have done well. And then
I never thought about that. So just, are they the most dysfunctional franchise in the NFL?
It's the whole it's the whole like stupid people do stupid things expression, you know?
Like the Lions are bad, but I wouldn't call them dysfunctional. They're just bad.
Yeah. Like, and then the only other team I was going to say with the West was Seattle, but we know what we're getting out of them. We all know how I feel about Drew Lock.
They're going to be bad.
They're going to be bad. Charles Cross looked good, but they're going to be bad. And then, like with Detroit, if they win 4 or 5 this year, I think that's a winning season for them.
I mean, I know some people that are Lions fans, I'm not going to put any names out there, that think they have an outside shot to compete for a playoff berth. And that's crazy.
Like they have some exciting pieces there, like Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've got DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson. But when you look at the rest of the team, you're just like, it's Jared Goff for me. I think if you have, I'm going to give you a hypothetical. If Matt Stafford is still the quarterback,
none of this matters if they can't protect anyone. You have all these skilled players, but if you can't protect anyone, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like I know everyone likes to give their offensive line praise, which their offensive line literally is a bunch of Midwestern boys and Penei Sewell. That's literally what if you go look at what their offensive line is.
And they were overrated last year because if you have that many bodies, Pro Bowlers and such, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then why aren't you a better rushing team? Why is there no balance? Why did it? You know what I mean? Why was there no balance on that team?
Exactly.
Why didn't they put up more points last year?
You know the people.
Why weren't they elite in time of possession? I could do this for a while.
Yeah, you got to look at it. It's just like, but even the Dan Campbell shtick. I respect Dan Campbell. He seems like he's in there. He has a lot of heart. He has a lot of passion. He's a guy that loves football. But when eventually is his gimmick gonna stop appealing to people? Where it's just, okay, we get it. You're a passionate dude. You got to go win some fucking football games. Absolutely. When does that stop? I think next year is a season where he's got to not make the playoffs, but you have to be a competent team where even if you're a team that through Thanksgiving is in the hunt, you don't have to be in the wild card hunt. You know, you can be in that 8, 9, 10, 11 spot. Somewhere in that
could be a game below 500, and I think that's a win. That's fine.
But there's actually something with Detroit I wanted to ask you about. So this year, I don't know if you saw this, they're the only team in the NFL not to have a primetime game. But they have the Thanksgiving slot where I think it's like the fifth, like it's in the top 5 for most watched all season. Would you rather have your team be in the Thursday Thanksgiving slot at 12:30, but you're not in a primetime game all year, or would you rather have a primetime game?
Thursday Thanksgiving, because the whole
Yeah.
country's watching. The whole country is watching. People that don't even care about football are watching that game. So yeah, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Easily.
Like the other thing too I was going to mention, actually, since it broke since I last recorded, but starting next year, the NFL is going to have a game on Black Friday too, which I think
Oh, that's
football.
gonna be a ratings monster. That's gonna be a monster there. Could you imagine people that don't want to do anything because they're off of work and then there's an NFL? Man, listen, that's gonna be a monster.
Oh, can I have a hot take? I have a hot take, not about for the season, but just in general. NFL Christmas Day games are better than the NBA. I don't know if you saw what the NBA slate is this year, but I think the NFL basically came in and was like that, just like, I'm here, I'm on Christmas, because last year, I don't know if you saw it, but like the Packers-Browns game killed the NBA in ratings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the NFL does that when it like head to head with the NBA, it usually kills them. But I think the thing with now we get a little off topic, but the NBA games, like the past few years, there's only been like one that's any compelling each year, and then the rest are just 20-point blowouts.
Can I tell you
that's been a problem.
Can I tell you the NBA slate for this year and then the NFL slate?
Yeah, because I don't know the NBA slate. I saw the NFL slate today.
Yeah, it's like Packers, Dolphins, Broncos, Rams, Buccaneers, Cardinals, which I think all 3 of those games are going to have teams with playoff implications in them.
Absolutely.
The NBA is Bucks at Celtics, which, okay, cool.
That should be great.
But then it's 76ers at Knicks.
I mean, it's gonna do a big number. It's gonna do a big number.
Suns at Nuggets.
That should be good.
Lakers at Mavericks.
No.
And then Grizzlies at Warriors.
That should be good too. I don't know, man. It's close.
Yeah. It's just the way I look at it. When I look at if you had to ask me which ones would I rather watch, because look, my team's only on Christmas Day the one time because they won the championships of the league, threw them a bone with the Raptors, but all the NFL games, like, it's not like they just put, if the NFL Christmas Day was like the Jags versus the Texans, the Lions versus the Seahawks, and then the Jets versus the Browns, yeah, I probably wouldn't watch. But the fact that they put on that 4:30 game right there, Broncos-Rams, sells itself. Packers-Dolphins, like, yeah. But then the 8 o'clock game, the Bucks-Cardinals will be interesting.
Yeah, it has the luxury of being like late in the season, so everything is important. I guess that's a good point. Like, although the Christmas NBA games should be good, there's a lot more season left. So yeah, that's a good point.
Exactly. Yeah, I just wanted to state that obvious right now with those two, because even this year, I don't know if you know this or not, but Christmas Eve is basically when Christmas Day falls on a Sunday. There's only the 3 NFL games, so all the games are going to be on Saturday this year. But the 8:15 game is Steelers at Raiders, and that game is 50 years and a day from the Immaculate Reception game, which I think is a pretty cool thing to have, just to like recreate that anniversary in prime time and everything.
Cool. That is cool.
Yeah, so that's just one thing I wanted to say right now with that, where, look, the Black Friday game, I think you can put any 2 teams on there, but I think you should try to shoot for 2 teams you think are going to be good. And then Thanksgiving, that's the thing though with Thanksgiving. Even though last year was Bears versus Lions, I still watched it.
I watched it too. Everyone watches it.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's grandmother, who don't give a damn about sports, she watched it. So it is it's on, man. It's football.
Like, I know I'm not American or anything, but like I usually take the day off work and I watch football, but that's what I do. But I feel like in the States, yeah, like you're there with family, you're eating. For some reason, dinner's at 2:30. I don't know how you guys do it. But you know what I mean. I feel like 2:30, 3 o'clock for some reason, and then I feel like you have the Cowboy game, which some people watch because they're in the food coma state of mind, where they're just full, just crazy amount of food, and then the night game usually is. I feel like the night game is more meant for the fans of those teams, but at the same time, too, this year for me it has more importance because it is Patriots-Vikings. But it's just my point stands with Thanksgiving Day in the NFL. You're gonna watch it.
Yeah. And the night game, maybe not the past few years, but most of the time, those are like two good teams.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the night game.
Yeah, like
Most of the
Patriots.
time.
Like I like the Patriots being on there. I don't know if I would have done the Vikings. I would have done the Patriots with the Packers this year. I think you should have done that game just because it's you get the Packers, you get the Patriots.
Yeah.
But even the Cowboys and the Giants, I kind of went like, ugh, I don't know why they put the Giants on there, but at the same time too, like I said,
they are going to be so bad. Like I've been I've been following what's the guy's name on Twitter that covers their practices, and he I can't remember his name, but like he just runs down like how the offense looks in practice, and all I see is Barkley tackled for loss.
I know who you're talking about. I was literally talking to Danny about this earlier today.
It's bad, man. It's bad.
I gotta go look that up. Oh God, I know I said that to him earlier.
Like, cause
Jordan Rannon.
Yeah, in addition to him, it's this girl I follow because she looks good. No other reason. But it's this girl I follow. She's
Is she
a
brown
Giants
hair?
fan. No.
Okay, 'cause there's another attractive girl who's a Giants fan who I know is diehard for the team.
Yeah, so it's like she always like posts his updates and stuff, and I'm like, Jesus, how can you get excited about this? This sounds terrible.
The only thing about
terrible, man.
The only thing about the Giants I can get excited about is the fact that they're bringing back their retro like Lawrence Taylor Day uniforms.
Oh, for real? I didn't know that.
Yeah, this year everyone's doing like different uniforms and stuff like that because the NFL finally lifted the helmet rule. The two that I'm still the most excited to see aren't till I think next year, and that is the Kelly Green Eagles jerseys, which I still think are the favorite. Those are the best Eagles jerseys of all times. And then the bad one, which is the creamsicle Buccaneer jersey.
Hey man, come on, man. Come on.
It's bad, but I want to see it. I want to see how they modernize it.
Hey, one of the first custom jerseys I had was a Brad Johnson creamsicle Buccaneers jersey when I was a kid. I actually like them jerseys, man. I do. I'm not gonna lie.
Super Bowl 37, will always be the most like obscure. Like I always thought about that when those two teams were terrible. I'm like 10 years ago, Buccaneers Rams was a Super Bowl matchup.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you on the Giants front. Look, Mac has some question marks, but with Daniel Jones, I just don't get how people think all of a sudden something's going to click and he's going to be good. I feel like if it would have happened, it would have happened by now.
I think most people off the train, man. I think
there's still some Giants. I think it's mainly Giants fans who have some like optimism and hope.
He can't be fixed, man.
Yeah.
He can't be fixed.
Just
like Baker Mayfield in Carolina. We'll get to him because we'll get to him.
Dude, Carolina, Carolina's not even him. It's Matt Rule. They're like, you want to talk about a bad offensive line? It's Carolina. Yeah. You want to talk about like even their defense? Like, yeah, they got some guys like Brian Burns is okay. They added J.C. Horn. I don't even remember who else they got back there. They got Derek Brown out of Auburn, but like, I look at them and I'm like,
I saw this article, and they were like, man, if Christian McCaffrey stays healthy, they win 4 games instead of 3.
Biggest fucking question. That's the biggest question mark in the league. He's getting hurt like every year now.
Yeah. He's always been that way, man. I told you he played when he was in college with a concussion. He's always been hurt. He's injury prone, man.
Oh, but I want to go to the NFC. I want to go to the end. Can I go to the NFC East for a second? Because I had a hot take. This is my take from.
Here we go.
So last year, I said that Amari Cooper was not going to be a Dallas Cowboy after the 21 season. I was right. Mine for next year, Ezekiel Elliott's cut or traded for cap reasons, and Tony Pollard becomes RB1.
I mean, look, because I wouldn't pay him. Like, would you pay him? Would you?
Who, Elliott or Pollard?
Yeah, and no, Elliott. Would you pay him? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't, because remember he held out when he shouldn't have held out. He was basically like, "All right, cool. I'm you guess you can pay me. I'm going to go fuck around in Cabo. And then eventually they were like, all right, fine. My other take with that team still is, too, is that until the day that Jerry Jones does not have any say in the football operations department, they will not win another Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, that's not even a.
That's not a take. That's just a statement I like to make.
That's a given. That's a given. Yeah, there's no way. But yeah, Zeke is just. I don't know, man. It's like he's lost a step and he's still young. Like, I wouldn't pay him.
Call me crazy, but I can see the world where the Eagles win that division.
Man, don't do this. You're not crazy. No, you're not crazy. But everything about this team, like we overachieved last year, and it's awesome. Everything about this team is better. Devontae Smith is a year older. We added
A.J.
AJ
Brown.
You know what I mean? Like there's weapons on this team. We should have more balance now. You know what I mean? Like granted, it's been running back by committee, but that's fine. I'll take it.
Boston Scott, good for the Giants games.
Exactly. This offense should be more balanced. You know what I mean? It's just my biggest question mark. Is Jalen Hurts actually good?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Is it because like at this point now, I understand last year you want to make excuses for him that I don't think he's good personally. But you want to make excuses for him that he didn't have weapons and stuff. You want to do that? Cool. You can't do that this year. You can't. So if he's bad this year, just saying.
Yeah. No, I got it. I'm just
The
saying
defense is better. The defense, everything about his team is better, man.
My only thing with the defense is, and by the way, Jordan Davis has looked great in camp so far, is if the Lions can stay healthy. Because I feel like the Eagles always have a devastating injury on the offensive or defensive line every year. I think like Brandon Graham, who else gone down? I don't think it was Fletcher Cox. It was someone else on the O-line. But Brandon Graham's just the most recent one that comes to my mind about getting hurt. But if even the other thing too with the Eagles is Nick Sirianni a good coach? Is he?
I was going to say that too. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think anyone knows at this point. That team, like when a team like that overachieves, like in any sport. I'm use a great example. Do you remember the 2011 Chicago Bulls?
Yes.
Remember when they overachieved? Derrick Rose won the MVP and all that stuff.
Youngest MVP in NBA history.
But I think most people in the heart of hearts knew that even if he was healthy, this is not a championship team. You know, I think we all knew.
Miami.
Yeah. Well, they lost in 5, but like I think everyone knew that wasn't a championship team. With the Eagles, they overachieved, and like people like there's expectations now. But I think we all need to be realistic and remember that a lot of things went their way for that to happen. You know what I mean?
I think they're the team where if everything can go right, they'll win the division. I think it's have to stay healthy, have to play good, and have to steal a few wins. I think those main 3 things.
We won 9 games last year, and this year they win 8 or 9 games again, maybe 7. I don't think they're really that. Like I think it really comes down to Jalen Hurts. Like in the NFL, either you need to have a defense that's so elite that you're in every game, and it doesn't really matter how good the offense is, or your offense needs to be dynamic for sustained success. That's what you need. And like, I don't think we have either one of those. We're a middle of the road team.
I just think that with the Eagles, well, for one, I think Howie has like a lifetime pass for GM because he brought the city a Super Bowl.
Of course.
I think the Eagles, though, are the one fan base where they could potentially set themselves up for disappointment the most. Where you put those unrealistic expectations on your shoulders, and then to that, when they don't get lived up to, it's nothing but disappointment. That's where I think it could stand.
When I talk to Eagles fans, they legit believe like Jalen Rose.
You did it. We're 1 for 1.
They legit believe that what's this boy's name? Goddamn, I've been saying it the whole fucking time.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, yeah. Like they think that he's gonna take another step, and you know what I mean. But I don't believe that. I don't see how anyone can believe that. What evidence do we have?
I think it's just like the 1 year thing where it's kind of like I kind of have a revelation just now where I feel like I get why people say the whole Mac Jones thing, where we want to wait and see what second year Mac has. I just don't think that he's gonna I just don't think both guys are gonna come out and be like, mightily regressive. Isn't it kind of funny how the three guys who were at Alabama at one point winning championships are now the three guys in the NFL with the biggest question marks around them?
Know. Yeah, I still think, honestly, it's going to sound crazy. I still think even now, even with the hip injury, Tua has the most upside. I still believe that. I'll always believe that. I'll believe it until the day that he's no longer in the league, man. Because I saw it. I know. I don't believe that he just doesn't know how to play anymore. I think he's hurt. Me and the kid talked about this. I think he's hurt. I think he's fighting injury. But I don't think exactly. I think it's in his mind. Because I don't believe that kid that I saw just doesn't know how to play football anymore. Yeah. I refuse to believe that. I can't believe that.
My other thing with him is, and I'm going to give you a scenario in a few seconds, I just think he's got to learn to win those like pressure spot games, because I feel like it's always been a Miami Dolphins thing to where like, Miami has to win this week to keep their playoff hopes alive, and then they get their asses kicked. That's my big thing with the Dolphins.
And look, like the kid was saying, when I talked to him, Tyreek Hill will help all of this. He will his loss in Kansas City is bigger than people are making it out to be, man. He really opened up the entire field for them to operate. Hopefully he can do that for Tua.
I said that when Mahomes signed that contract, it was going to hurt them. Like all these teams, like Buffalo's probably going to have to do it soon, where you're going to make a move that's going to, you don't think it in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to hurt your franchise. Like, yeah, I agree with you. Patrick Mahomes is not that he's worse off. I still think that, I'll talk to him in a second. Actually, I'll get to I'm going to leave the Mahomes stuff for now just because I have a take about him. But with Tua, I want to play a scenario for you. It's week 1. They play the Patriots. Miami has the ball at like the New England 45, 4th and 11. And Tua throws a ball that's like 3 yards short of Tyreek Hill, who, if he catches it, it's a home run ball and they win the game. I just think there's a world where that happens. Just because of the inaccuracy and stuff like that.
Did you just map out like a whole like final play of a game?
Yeah.
Because I could see that happening.
Yeah. I think Miami's going to be that one team, though, too, where because you know how most teams with a head coach, like new head coach, sometimes they get off to a weaker start. It's like they're trying to figure everything out, but then the media is panicking, being like, what is wrong with the Miami Dolphins? Can't you see a world where they start like 1-2 and they have like a couple embarrassing losses where it's just like, what's going on in Miami? Mike McDaniel's not the guy. This on top of the Stephen Ross stuff, which, look, is big in its own. But I can just see a world where, like, them in Denver kind of, like, kind of struggle out the gate. But then eventually when they hit their stride, you press that foot on the gas pedal and you just go.
I'm glad you brought up Denver. Here's my hot take. You ready?
Yeah.
Russell, I almost said Russell Westbrook. I'm about as bad as Russell Wilson will be the comeback player of the year, and they will win like 12 games.
I like that. I hate the award. I still feel like the NBA, it should be most improved player. I don't think comeback player of the year is, because I'm going to steal a quote from Pro Football Talk 2019. When Ryan Tannehill won comeback player of the year, and Shereen Williams said, what did he come back from? Sucking? That's the thing where I think with comeback player of the year.
That's a good point.
I think it should be most improved player. It should be a most improved award instead of a comeback player, because I feel like comebacking can be, oh yeah, you tore your ACL this year, you come back, you have a dynamite season. I just think that if anything, it should be like you should do comeback player of the year reserved for guys who are have serious injuries. But I think you got to do a most improved award for like 2020. Josh Allen won in a heartbeat last year. Justin Herbert won it. There's just certain awards I think most improved should be a thing for that. But I fully agree with you. And I have a hot take, too, with the AFC West, is that Derek Carr is not the guy in Vegas. I do not think – like, there's people out there saying that he's a dark horse MVP candidate.
Last year?
I think, you know what, they're going to – because what quarterbacks could be on the market, or even next year? If you look at the draft, there's a lot of good kids out there. Vegas, I know they don't have the draft capital for it, but I just look at Derek Carr where I'm like – ever since he broke his leg in that 2016 season, he's healthy. He probably wins MVP that year.
Yeah.
And Connor Cook starts the play. And Connor Cook doesn't start the playoff game for them. I just don't think – and also, you know how, too, like the Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow stuff last year, where I feel like everyone has that false narrative with Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. With that being said, Devontae Adams is still a stud receiver, probably one of the best top 3 receivers in the league right now. I just don't think that what we saw with them at Fresno State is going to translate 9 years later in Vegas. And here's the other thing, too, though, with the Raiders. For as good as Devontae Adams has to be, Josh McDaniels relies a lot on the guys who are the wide receivers 2, 3, and 4. So the ball's going to get spread around a lot. I'm just saying this right now.
And I don't think those dudes are that great, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
like 2 through 4, I don't think they're that great. They're cool.
After Hunter Renfrow with dips, like Mac Hollins is probably the next receiver and Keelan Cole.
Nah.
So, and that's the thing. That's an offensive line too that has a lot of question marks around it as well.
Like, look, Devontae Adams should have a big year.
Yeah,
but like the team itself, nah. I think I'm right with you on that.
Yeah. And then the one team I want to see win the West so bad is the Chargers. They're a team that I like. There are players I like on that team. Like Justin Herbert, I'm kind of like, we'll call for what it is. Sweet on him. Like he's a good player. I think he's a good footballer. It's just, don't you always think the Chargers just find a way to fuck it up?
Yeah, like he's fantastic, man. I think at this point, if he doesn't make the playoffs, man, he somehow escaped a lot of criticism that most young quarterbacks usually,
Anthony Lynn last year. Well, to be fair, last year Brandon Staley did cost them the season. If you didn't call that stupid timeout in overtime, they probably would have won the game.
Absolutely, but like they gotta make the playoffs this year. They gotta not necessarily make it, but they gotta realistically threaten to make the playoffs. Not no weird scenario needs to come into play for them. No, they need to be a playoff contender for most.
Make it without help.
Yeah.
Like the whole
or it's time to start asking questions like, is he just putting up hollow numbers?
Yeah, that's the thing, because like I think a lot of people see him too as like an outside MVP candidate in that nature, but I just feel like, and I also say that about the Chargers, because look, 2006, that Charger team should have won a Super Bowl. But they could never beat the Patriots. Yeah. Phillip Rivers, Vincent Jackson, rest in peace, Antonio Gates, Damian Tomlinson, those San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, that was the best offense in the league. And they couldn't.
They couldn't.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to see the LA Chargers now become that. And here's the other thing, too, with the AFC West. You know how for years everyone always said, oh, Brady had weak competition. But isn't it good to see that all these other teams are kind of beefing up and they're kind of like, we're not going to let you grab the division by the reins and just run away with it every year.
It's the best conference in football by a wide margin.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's all that close.
Like my thing with Kansas City is if they win the division this year and are somehow like say the one, not even the 4 seed, 1, 2, or 3. Don't you think that'll really help Mahomes' legacy? Because remember how it went from when he won his first, everyone going the LeBron James, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, to now people panicking because they haven't won a Super Bowl in 2 years.
Which is crazy, by the way. which shows you where the expectations are for just some people. But the thing with them, I think that honestly they haven't they lost Tyreek Hill, which I think is so huge. But I think they didn't adequately address it. Because, it's not just about losing him as a weapon. Like, he changes how they play. Like, Mahomes gets to do all this superhuman look down the field, throw it deep. People are open everywhere because of the threat Tyreek Hill is. And he changes the way they play has to drastically change now.
Can
and
I
the fact
also
they
take
didn't
about
address
them?
that is just, yeah.
I think Travis Kelce's numbers go down significantly because he's going to get double teamed a lot more because they don't have to worry about Tyreek Hill anymore. You can still put guys on Juju and MVS. I think Travis Kelce's going to get double teamed a lot. And that also shouts out to, remember all those idiots you see on Twitter, all those young kids who say that Prime Kelce's better than Prime Gronk, which no.
I wonder if they still feel that way after this season. We'll see.
Yeah, they've got some, but even too, like I know you were talking earlier about how Tyrann Mathieu's hurt, but I think that's like veteran leadership in the locker room that you're losing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
it's just they're worse. They're worse, and everybody else is better. Like I said it the last time we all got together. I do not think they win that division, and I would not be shocked if they missed the playoffs entirely. I would not be shocked.
Do you really want to see ESPN burn to the ground and have the Kansas City Chiefs miss the playoffs? Because you know that if he's
No,
not there,
but seriously, they're worse. They're a worse team
yeah,
now. They are a worse team now.
that's why I think if somehow they manage to win the division and get in the playoffs and make a run, it just adds to Patrick Mahomes' legacy. Now, no, he is not in the GOAT conversation at all. But I just think that this is one of those seasons where, like, you know how for years everyone went Tom Brady, oh, the Patriots are worse, or they're not it this year. Someone else is
That's a
going to come
good point.
along, and
That's
then
a
they
good
always
point.
do that. I think if he can have a season where he can go out there and just be like, you know what, like I'm going to go back to the 2018 Patriots because do you remember when Brady beat the Chargers and he had that whole thing? You know, he's like, well, everyone thinks we suck and no one thinks we're good anymore.
Yeah,
I think
I
he has
remember
to have that, not that self doubt, but you have to have that. Not everything's okay. You have to have that. People are coming for me. People don't think we're good anymore. I don't have my best weapon here anymore. So we'll see what happens with the Kansas City Chiefs. But this leads me to one point because week one, them versus the Arizona Cardinals is going to be must watch television.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, well, one situation is a mess. The other one is so much uncertainty. So
Yeah.
you're right. That is true.
It's in the 425 slot as well. It's that, Raiders, Chargers, and Giants, Titans. When I look at those three games, I'd probably rank not Titans, Raiders, Chargers above it just because that's a game where both same thing too. Those are two uncertain teams. We don't know what we're going to get. But then I think Cardinals, Chiefs, if you want a Big 12 football matchup, watch that game.
Yeah. And who
Yeah.
the hell wants to see fucking Giants and Titans? Who the hell wants to do that? Who wants to subject themselves to fucking Daniel Jones versus who wants to do that?
You want to talk about a team getting significantly worse? I know they still have Derrick Henry, but my take still is I don't think the Titans make the playoffs.
Yeah, they are getting worse.
Yeah.
Worse. Their window is closed. I think it's shut.
Yeah. I also do think the Ryan Tannehill 2019 season was a peak. Like I think it was just like that's as good as he's going to get because he's the last 2 years he hasn't been anything special. I think 2019 it's the same thing. It's when no one expects you to be good, you're good.
I've always liked Tannehill, man. I've always thought he was unfairly criticized. But yeah, you're right. Like it's not going to get any better than that.
I'll just say this, and it might be cuckoo, but I still think that there's an outside chance that the Colts could make a run. I think if you give Matt, I don't know where Matt Ryan is or who Matt Ryan is anymore.
They have the most talent in that division. Absolutely.
Yeah. You have a
the question mark is just Matt Ryan.
I mean, he's finally for the first time in years has a solid offensive line in front of him. He's got a good running back because Atlanta really hasn't had a good running back since. What was the guy's name?
Let's see. Todd Gurley.
No, that was like they had Todd Gurley when he was washed after all his injuries.
Atlanta. Let's see.
Like I think it may have been like the Julio Jones, Roddy White days.
Oh.
What was the guy's name?
Oh, you're killing me, man.
I think this was still Tony Gonzalez was on the team.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hold on. on the air, y'all. On the air. Because this is going to mess with me. Rushing.
Michael Turner, I think it was.
Let's see. Yeah, Michael Turner was good, but is that who you were thinking about?
No.
Is that who you were thinking about?
No.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm so mad. We should know this. Someone's yelling. Someone's listening and just yelling at this right now.
Like the one Falcons fans being like, this is who we're talking about.
This is exactly who you're talking
about. Devonta Freeman.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was the last good running back they had.
My big thing with the Colts, it's the receiver room. You know how I feel about Michael Pittman Jr., but I want to see, is he a true number one? Or I think he's more number two, but I think he's going to get the chance to be a number one. Alec Pierce, rookie I like. Paris Campbell, if he can stay healthy. But they do have Mo Alley Cox at tight end, so we'll see how that goes. And then their defense, they got some pieces there. I think the Colts, I'm not saying they're going to run away. I think they're going to be that like 10-7, 11-6 team that wins their division, honestly.
Yeah, they should win that division.
Yeah.
I don't think the Jags are anything worth talking about. I don't think we should talk about the Jaguars at all. I'm not giving
Trevor
them
Lawrence,
any time.
I think he can have a good year, but there's still going to be This is like saying like 5 wins,
No.
5-12.
I
Ceiling.
doubt that. Like,
Yeah.
can we be honest? Can we be honest? Trevor Lawrence, and I said it at the time. Look, man, all the tools are there. He can make all the throws, all that stuff. But I said it at the time. That boy is a Hall of Fame front runner. He's not front running. You know how people say that Aaron Rodgers is a front runner, or I heard people say Patrick Mahomes is a front runner. Trevor Lawrence is actually a front runner. You know what I mean? like he, even if you go back to his college days, he was a front runner. That's what he is, man. When defenses change, when games are close, he is not the same quarterback. Not the same quarterback.
It's been like that since high school for him, though.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And then Houston. Some people want to buy into Davis Mills. I just don't see it. He's a bridge quarterback until they have the chance to draft someone better.
I'm not gonna lie, that's the most boring team in the league. I don't know anything about that roster.
Besides
the most boring team in the league.
You know what they're going to be? They're going to be that team that like comes on red zone like once or twice, but then like I look at the roster and I go, like he's there. It's guys that if weren't on Houston, they would not be in the league.
They wouldn't be in the league at all. Yeah, they might end up being the worst team in football.
I think if you had to give me 3, Houston, Jacksonville, and Atlanta. I think those are and Seattle. Those are the 4 candidates for worst team in the league.
Yeah, pretty accurate.
Yeah. And then the only other thing, I still think the division with the most intrigue is it could be the East, based solely off of we don't know what to expect from 3 of the 4. I think with Buffalo, it's kind of look, you know what to expect. Josh Allen this, Josh Allen that. But with the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Jets are the most intriguing out of those 3 because what's going to happen with Zach Wilson and his injury? How are the rookies going to look? Because if Zach Wilson's done for the year, that team is cooked.
I mean, I don't want to get Daddy upset.
Believe me, I've been talking to him about this on Friday.
Nah, I mean, I feel bad for him because a lot of things happen with that team that it's just bad luck, man. That team is cursed, man.
He literally said that to me. I was just thankful that it wasn't an ACL injury. I felt bad for Jets fans as a whole because like I was excited to see them this year. I was kind of like wondering like what's the MILF hunter Zach Wilson going to look like?
Because honestly, I feel like the logic with them the past couple of years has been sound. They haven't done a lot of stupid shit that we laugh at them about. It's just they have bad luck. They just have bad luck. It's bad luck, man.
If you had to categorize a team for them, they're Murphy's Law.
That's good.
Yeah, they're the Murphy's Law of the NFL. And then with the Patriots and the Dolphins, it's kind of like Pandora's box. You could open it, and it could be something good. Or you can open it, and it could be a pile of crap. You just don't know.
They're both dependent on the leaps that the quarterbacks take.
Yes.
I think both teams are good, but it all depends on which one will take a real leap. And honestly, if I had to bet, I'm sorry, kid. I know he's listening, but I'd probably have to go with Mac Jones.
The other thing I'm going to say, too, is I feel like with those 2 as well, Tua is more, can he do it? With Mac, it's more, will Bill let him do it? Because there's a lot of moments last year where Bill really restricted what Mac could and couldn't do. Now, obviously, one of those games was the Bills weather game, which I'm still amazed they won. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Where he didn't complete a pass.
2 for 3 for 19 yards.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But besides that, like there's certain moments where I want to see like my thing with Mac too is I want to see him go downfield and do a game-winning drive. I want to see him do that. I don't think we didn't see a whole lot of that with him last year. Like the game against Dallas, great game in overtime. And that's the other thing too with the Patriots. I want to see them win games like that. Like the games where you can look on sometimes you go, we'll get them next time. I want to see them win those games. Like how they almost beat the Buccaneers too last year.
It really, like you said, it all depends on how much you trust Mac. That's all.
Yeah. I want us to go to the AFC North for a second.
Because you got to know if he's bad. Like if he's going to be bad, you need to find out.
Exactly. And then the other thing, I could go on about him all day, but I want to go to the AFC North for a second because I know we talked about Baltimore earlier. But I want to give you two takes on two teams in that division. Well, for one, Cleveland, I just don't see will be good. Look, fuck them. They deserve to be bad.
Yeah, because we got to talk about the elephant in the room with them. We'll get to that.
Yeah. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be that bad because Mike Tomlin football teams are never bad.
I mean, you're right. You're right. They are
8-9,
bad.
9-8. You know, their defense is going to win them some games. They're going to be the New Orleans Saints, effectively. I just think there's more potential in the quarterback room with New Orleans than Pittsburgh.
Where's the points coming from, Griff? You have to score.
Pick six.
They got to score points, man. That's the thing. They got to score.
My other one too is I still think they're going to be good, but don't be shocked if the Bengals are that team that has the Super Bowl hangover. I think that's the whole, they'll just get back there next year. They'll just do this. I wouldn't be shocked if there's.
I think they're a wild card team. They're
yeah.
good. They're respectable. Dynamic offense.
Like a 10-7.
Their record might actually end up being the same. It's just the run that they went on during the playoffs. I don't think it happens this year.
Like, I still think that if Patrick they deserve to beat the Titans and the Raiders. I'll give them that. But if it was the Bills and the Bengals, ain't no way it are the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
You think so? You think they finished that?
Yeah, I think I also think last year too with the Bills that them beating the Patriots was their Super Bowl. I think that was also 20 years of pent up frustration and anger.
The monkey off their back. Yeah, you might be
the
right.
Monkey off their back. Now it's and I'll say this too with Buffalo before we go into the elephant in the room. I still think if they don't get it done this year, who knows when they'll get it done. I think this is there's no
setup.
Excuse. There's no excuse.
This year they need to get there. I don't know about winning. You never know when you get to the game, but they need to get there.
Yeah.
Everything is lined up for them to make the Super Bowl. No excuses.
Anything but being in Phoenix next in February is a disappointment.
Disappointment, straight up.
Even if you lose the AFC Championship game, still a disappointment, which I have a hot take on that, is that losing a Championship Sunday game hurts more than the Super Bowl because of the Super Bowl, like we said, at least you made it.
At least you got there. Yep, I agree.
Yeah. But we'll see, because I think that the more that they
don't
get there...
As an Eagles fan, I'm telling you, I definitely agree. Remember that?
And as a Patriots fan, too. With the Patriots, I know I'm a little biased by saying that, and I don't want to talk about the Giants' losses because those losses irk me. But like the Eagles' loss, it sucked. But at the same time, too, I was like, we just got outplayed. They were the better team. They had the trick play.
One of the greatest games of all time. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that was just a pure back and forward Super Bowl. But let's go about it. I'm gonna let you have the floor.
All right. So we're not going to. I want to be fair here, okay? I want to be fair here. I'm not going to bury the Browns because they were at a position where they needed to upgrade, and you have literally before he wasn't playing, MVP candidate. So I don't blame them for going to get him. I think the fan base is being too hard on them for going to get him because you had to move on for Baker, and Deshaun Watson sitting right there. It's a no-brainer. My thing is the way he has handled him and the NFL have handled this situation. Honestly, he shouldn't play a down of football this year. I know what they're saying, 8 games, something like that, 8 games or something like that.
6.
That's terrible. That he shouldn't play a down of football this year. Like there are so many people, not just the woman, but people impacted by his actions. And all he had to say was, I'm sorry for the woman that I impacted and that what do you say? I'm sorry for the woman that I impacted and had an influence on. I'm like, bro, that's not enough. That's not enough. Like, he shouldn't play a down of football. And honestly, I don't think, and then even when he was playing, like in practice and everything we've seen him, he's looked like shit. Because he hadn't played football for a year. You know what I mean? Deshaun Watson is over. It's done. The Deshaun Watson you saw in Houston, that dude is dead. It's over. He will when he finally comes back, he will struggle. And in 2 to 3 years, he'll be holding a clipboard.
Him sitting out 2021 didn't do him any favors either. Him coming out and being like, oh, hey, it's sorry for that. No, it was straight up predatory behavior. It's straight up it's a slap in the face, too, to women who are survivors. No matter where you're from or what part of the world or if you're involved, if you know the game of football, no. The fact that, but then here's the thing, though. The NFL probably did this whole outside thing with this judge, Sue Robinson. So it's like 6 games, and then the NFL could come in and go, hey, we're going to be the heroes. No, if Roger Goodell wanted to be the hero, you slam him down like you did with Calvin Ridley, 17 games. You were not playing another down of football until 2023 at the earliest.
Absolutely.
Like the NFL's it's such a double standard when it comes to their punishments because – like how I say the Calvin Ridley stuff, but then you also look at it with the NFL where it's like, hey, we're dedicated to doing this. We're dedicated to equality, where they have the end racism stuff with 2020. But then when it comes to stuff like domestic violence and sexual assault, they look the other way. It's
it
goes away.
It gives off heavy testosterone when we don't care about women. That's what it gives off. It's just that simple. It's not a good look, man.
I'll do one because we're wrestling fans. It gives off Vince McMahon Hush Money vibes.
Absolutely. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, this is exactly what this is. Like, what makes it even worse, how long was this going on in general? And how much did the Texans organization know about all this shit? Like, how long was this happening? Even before all of the women that have come out, how much happened before then that, you know what I'm saying, that they kept quiet because he was out there winning games for them?
But why are you going to outside places? Why are you doing over 20 masseuses? Why, like, it's straight up predatory behavior. It's not normal
it's the power
people.
dynamic.
It's a power dynamic, but at the same time, too, some of the stuff, like, I don't know if you heard about it or not, but like him not wanting to wear a towel, him like basically wanting the girls to like touch him and stuff like that. It's just, It's a power dynamic.
His lawyer is the biggest sleazeball in the world. Did you hear? A happy ending isn't against the law. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Oh my God, what are you talking about?
I mean, Robert Kraft had his little snafu, but then he walked away. But at the same time, too, I just didn't like the Browns fans. I said this one day where I was basically doing all this stuff, and a bunch of Browns fans got in my mentions. And they were literally like, oh, you're only saying this because he's black. You're only saying this because of this. I'm like, no, I'm saying this because he is a sexual predator. Robert Kraft was in no right for what he did. But at the same time, too.
That dude's sick. It's just that simple. He
Yeah.
could be purple. He's still sick. Sick, man.
There's something up here that's not right. There's something. What goes in your mind to do stuff to where you're getting a massage and all of a sudden you're like, okay, like, yeah. It's like, I know it's a power dynamic, but at the same time, too, no guy goes out there in a day and says, oh, I'm going to go. Like, if you go to those places where they offer those kind of things, fine. No guy's going to walk into a regular masseuse. Let's say if you and I did this in a hypothetical world, we walk into a masseuse and you try to get a little bit extra, chances are you're either going to get kicked out or you're going to get the cops called on you. And it's not.
You're going to jail.
You're going to jail. You're straight up going to jail.
I'm getting beat up, but we're both going to jail.
You're getting beat up. My engagement's getting called off, but we're both going to jail. That's my point with all this. It's just that sometimes you think you can use power, but at the end of the day, you can't. No matter who you are. And I only see the Robert Kraft stuff because with him, Robert Kraft, it was a one-time thing. For what we know, it was a one-time thing. It happened.
And then wasn't he paying these women? Like, I'm not saying that makes it better. I'm just saying
he went to an actual rub and tug. Robert Kraft went to an actual rub and tug.
Like, that was the point. That you knew what was happening. Like, he went there with the sole intention, you know what I mean?
Of getting a happy ending.
Yeah.
Deshaun
Watson's going to regular fucking massage parlors, you know what I'm saying, trying to get his rocks off. It's a totally different deal.
Exactly. That's the point to all of this. But it's just, if he plays it down to football, it doesn't look good on the Cleveland Browns organization. It does not look good on the NFL. It's just one of those things where you have to nip it in the butt. And I know Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk has been all over this since day one. All over this. So it's just one of those things now with him and the NFL. They have to come to their senses and realize, hey, you got to do what's best. Like even to the Alvin Kamara stuff. I don't know how much you know into that, his whole assault stuff in Vegas.
Yeah.
They're like right now they're being like, oh, chances are he's not going to get punished till next year. It's like the Brady stuff. Like, if you were going to suspend Brady, why do you have to wait an additional year for that?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They didn't wait forever to get rid of Tom Brady for 4 games when they thought he was deflating footballs. It didn't take, you know what I'm saying? It didn't take a whole took months. And he was that ruling came through. Why is this different? It gives off, we don't give a fuck about women. That's what it gives off.
Yeah, like the NFL can say, oh, we're all about change, we're all about this. It's just, it does not look good for them, and you gotta look at it sometimes where it's like you have to look past the ego and the big headedness of the league, mainly Roger, and go, instead of just being like, even with this too, he's still judge, jury, and executioner. That's the fucked up part. Why not just come down and say, no, I'm overruling it. PA, you can do this if you want, but at the end of the day, you can just say, I don't care about you. I care about what you did. We'll see you in 2023 at the earliest.
Well, that's because Goodell full of shit. You know that.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he's full of shit.
Why do you think
probably the worst commissioner of the 4 major sports, man?
I still say Rob Manfred, but that's just me.
That's close. It's a discussion. It is a discussion.
Silver is the best by far, though.
I don't know much about the hockey dude.
That's that NBA.
No, I know that, but I don't know much about the hockey yet.
He's not well liked either. I prefer.
I've seen him before, but I don't know much about
him. Goodell's better than him. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, Adam Silver's the best. Period.
Yeah. You saw one headline come up, folks. That's going to be something to end the show with. But I want to go into something with you, actually, because you're a college guy. Did you see the preseason AP top 25?
Okay. So I haven't looked at it. I was going to look at it actually today. I know it came out, last weekend, something like that? Last week? Like Friday or something like that?
Today.
Okay. Well, yeah, I didn't look at it because I knew you, after you said we're going to do the show tonight. So, yeah, let's go through it. Bring it up.
Do you want me to go to 1 to 25 or 25 to 1?
Go to 25 to 1. Okay,
so it starts with BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, and Wake Forest.
Man, Cincinnati, low. I know they lost the whole offense. I get it, but that's still low, man. That team was among the best in college football last year. That's low. Maybe that'll change though. That'll change hopefully.
I assume so. And then Ole Miss, Kentucky, Arkansas, Wisconsin.
Okay.
That's fair. All those teams.
What's Wisconsin ranked?
18.
Okay. Yeah, it's about 15 to 20. I have them there.
Pittsburgh, the U, Michigan State, USC, North Carolina State.
Okay, now the Kittle like this. I think that the U has an outside shot to win the ACC because who else is going to win that side of the bracket? And then you get to that game with Clemson, they can't score any points, anything else.
Is it a hot take to say that the ACC is almost as bad as the Pac-12 now?
Nah, it's not a hot take at all. Because Clemson, I would say, is the overwhelming favorite, but that offense is bad. That defense is the best in the country. The defensive line is nasty. The linebackers are nasty. Corners are shut down. But like I said earlier, where are the points going to come from? Where are they going to come from?
And then it goes to Oklahoma State, Oregon, Baylor, Oklahoma.
Oregon's going to win the Pac-12 for one. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I think so. Unless Lincoln Riley creates magic at USC, but I still think it'll be wait till 2023 for them.
I still like I said, the only thing about him, I think that it will take a couple years because I think everyone is thinking it's going to be like Oklahoma, but then he also inherited a lot of great athletes when he came into Oklahoma. It's not to say he has to recruit his guys, but he still doesn't have his quarterback. You know what I mean? So,
but that's the thing too. With Oklahoma, it was like, okay, here's a set roster. Now go run with it.
Yeah, now go run with it. Yeah, it's not the same. I think it's gonna take like a year.
Also, my take too is I think Baylor wins the Big 12 again this year. They have Dave Miranda's doing a really good job there. They have a really good defense too. It's just really, let's see how they are offensively.
Well, we'll see.
And then it goes Michigan, Utah, Texas A&M, Notre Dame.
All right. Who? Keep going. We'll come back to Notre Dame. Keep going.
Okay, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and then Alabama.
All right. Why is Notre Dame so high?
Can I give a take?
Think about.
All right, actually, I'm not a take. I'm going to give an opinion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Week 1, Ohio State whoops the shit out of Notre Dame. And that Saturday night game, September 3rd. I don't even think it's close. I think Ohio State beats the brakes off of them.
Like, it's really weird because think about all the teams you named ahead of them. Because I was waiting for that because I didn't know where they fit into this.
Texas A&M's better.
Every team you name ahead of them has a legit chance to be in the playoff.
Utah's going to be in the Pac-12 conversation.
How are they directly under that tier? That's crazy.
Michigan's going to be competitive, but Ohio State's the best team in the nation, if you ask me.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Bryce Young is back.
He is.
He is. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But I do think Ohio State, Bama will be our national championship.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think Georgia was that 1-year wonder. I think that's what they were. I think it was just like I said last year. Everything went perfect.
They lost a lot. Like, they lost a ton. So I don't know. They
lost the majority of their defense.
Yeah, I don't think the magic happens again. But
also with Bama too, they have a player who's going to light up the NFL next year, Will Anderson.
Oh, that's your hot take?
No, I just like Ohio State. I think personally they have where it's like that team. It's like, how Buffalo, how they have everything. They have a good defense. Smith and Jigba's a great talent. You have CJ Stroud. I think we're going to see Bama. I think Bama Ohio State's going to be the national championship again. I do think that's going to be the case. I'm just saying it's not a hot take. It's just what I think. If I had to guess right now, or if I had to put a wager on who I think would win the Natty, I would go Ohio State.
I don't know, man. It's Nick Saban coming off a loss.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm just saying. He is the best coach in maybe sports coming off a big loss. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
What was I going to say too about college?
I know it's boring to say, oh, Bama, but like that's always the case. They are the team of of the past 20 years. It's Bama, no one else.
Oh, also with Michigan last year, I think them. You know how, like I said with the Bills, like their Super Bowl was winning the game against the Patriots. I think with Michigan,
for them beating Ohio State,
beating Ohio State and winning the Big Ten, that was their season.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know how much you remember the Orange Bowl, but I literally watched Aiden Hutchinson closely, and he literally didn't look like he gave a shit. I think Michigan was just like, all right, cool, we're here.
Yeah, we did what we've been trying to do for years.
Yeah, that was effectively they had we want to get the monkey off our back kind of season. We had you know what, we wanted to beat the one team that we haven't beaten in forever, but we did beat them, so we're good.
Like I respect Harbaugh, but he does like just enough, right?
Yeah,
like, just enough to keep that job. Like they restructure his whole contract, and he goes out and he beats Ohio State. You know what I mean? It's really weird.
Like I think this year with him too, it's the same thing where if he can either beat Ohio State or hang in tough, because like with Ohio State, I think the Michigan game and maybe Michigan State are like the only games where I look at where Ohio State could potentially lose. I think this is at worst an 11-1 football team.
Oh, I think they're going undefeated. I think they're that much better than the Big Ten. Yeah. I think the gap between them and the Big Ten is huge. I think the problem with Bama is that the reason why your pick for Ohio State, I think is really sound, although I'm not sure. Like I said, gun to my head, I'd go with Bama. But I think your pick is really sound because I don't think they'll be tested all year. Like I think they won't be tested until the semifinal.
Yeah, if you had to pick the semifinals right now, who would you say? We'd say Ohio State. We'd say Bama.
Oregon, and let's see.
I'm gonna throw a wild card there. I'm gonna say Baylor.
See, man, that's the thing. That committee, they respect the Big 12 when it's convenient. When it's Oklahoma or Texas, they respect the Big 12. They
didn't make the top 25, by the way. Texas. They didn't make it.
Exactly. they don't when it's Baylor or TCU or you know what I'm saying? They don't respect them then, or Iowa State, you know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? That's when they don't respect them, you know what I mean? But it was
Pac-12 too.
it's weird. It's
I
weird.
feel like the Pac-12, they like just throw them a bone every once in a while. Says, okay, cool, here's a berth in the playoff. Even though Oregon was in the first ever final against Ohio State.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's Oregon, Bama, Ohio State, and I hope they don't go two SEC teams again. But
I was about to say I could see them throwing. If Texas A&M has a really good season, I could see it being them.
and their only loss is like Bama. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see that.
Man, that's going to be a great. That's going to be a good game October 8th when those two go head to head, especially after what happened with Saban and Jimbo Fisher this offseason.
And I don't think, you know how we got the Cincinnati run last year? I don't think something like that happens this year.
No. If anything, it's like I could see a team like in the top 5, in the Power 5, doing something like that where they make a run, like LSU in 2019. Like, I'm not saying to win the championship, but you know what I mean? Like a team that you don't expect in one of those conferences makes noise. Like, let's say Wisconsin all goes right and they have a good season, something like that. But
I don't know who that 4th team will be.
It's a very
the only reason I'm sure about Oregon is that I think that other than the L they're going to take to at the beginning of the year.
Who is it? It's Georgia.
Georgia? Yeah, Georgia.
Yeah, they play Georgia in Atlanta.
Yeah, they're going to lose that game. And I don't think they lose to any of those Pac-12 teams.
Let's take a look at their schedule. Oregon Ducks. Okay, yeah, so they play Georgia and then Eastern Washington. That should be
a win.
BYU.
That's a win.
Washington State.
That's a win.
Stanford.
Win.
Arizona.
Win. Convincing win.
Yeah. UCLA.
Win. Another W.
Cal.
That's a W.
Colorado.
W.
Washington.
Another one.
Utah.
That's the one. That's the one. And I think that, I think they can win that game.
The only other one is Oregon State after that, so we'll wait and see what happens.
All wins. All winnable.
Yeah. The only games I think where you look at and you're like, those are going to be challenges are, like you said, Georgia and
Utah. That's
Utah.
it.
Utah is going to be a very interesting team this year because they had one hell of a Rose Bowl and they won the Pac-12 last year, but that's another team too. Like I could see a team coming out of nowhere like a Utah or a who's the other team I was going to say? A Baylor. Like how Baylor won the Big 12, won the Sugar Bowl.
Don't be shocked if that Utah and Oregon game is for a spot in the playoff. Like don't be shocked if like this just for a spot in the playoff.
That'll probably be the Big 12, not the Big 12, excuse me, the Pac-12 championship.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm excited for everything in college football that doesn't involve Bama and Ohio State. I think it's gonna be pretty boring until the end with those two because I think it's just gonna beat everybody. But
it's like what Kirk Herbstreit said one time. He's like the college football playoff wheel. It's like there's not a lot of parity there because every year you kind of know. Okay, it's going to be Bama, Ohio State, Clemson, and then one other team. I don't think it's going to be Clemson again, but you know what I mean. Like where for a long time, you always knew who was going to be there. Like we always know Bama's going to be there. My thing is, though, how is a team like Texas going to be this year? Or is it going to have to be a wait until Arch Manning gets there for them?
They definitely got their ducks in a row. Like they don't expect anything. And I feel so bad for Arch Manning. Because as soon as he throws an incomplete pass, people are going to be like, this boy is terrible. I feel so bad for him because there's so much expectation. Like your two uncles are two of the top 10 greatest college quarterbacks of all time. Hell, Peyton is top 5 greatest NFL quarterback of all time. And your granddad also happens to be a legend in college football. So, like, there's no... Like, the expectations are so crazy. So crazy.
I just think, too, with Texas moving to the SEC as well, it's just going to put unrealistic expectations on those Oklahoma and Texas teams to compete with them.
Hell, people said Lincoln Riley ran for the SEC.
I think he did.
I don't know, man. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that.
I don't
I
either,
don't know.
but at the same time too, it's like one of those like you kind of see it coming kind of things.
But then again, like, look, think about it. You're him. Do you want to? Because no matter what he does, he's always going to be in the shadow of guys like Bob Stoops, Barry Switzer, things like that.
Yeah.
And think about USC. Like, think about throughout their history. It's like Carroll and no one else, and Carroll left in disgrace. You know what I'm saying? So now he has a chance to be their Saban. You know what I mean? So
I think that's why he did it. I think it was just the money and the chance to be great. I was just saying that like half jokingly where I'm like he ran from the SEC, but at the same time too, I think Oklahoma's going to be the better equipped team to be prepared for the SEC because Oklahoma's actually been recruiting defensively pretty well for the last couple of years now. And they have Brett Venable as their head coach, so it'll be interesting to see how he does there.
Finally getting a real shot. Happy for him. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. But before we wrap up here.
Before we get out of here, though, I just want to say I didn't say a word about Virginia Tech because why should I? They are awful.
Science Enter Sandman.
They are exactly like this is the first time in a long time that I'm really debating on not what because every year, like even last year, like I fell a little bit out of college football just because I had a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
But I still watched every Tech game. I do every year. I watch every Tech game. I don't think that's happening this year. I don't want to do that. Because I know we're gonna lose every rivalry game. We're definitely losing to Virginia. We're definitely losing to Miami. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
My other thing with I'm going to say this right now with college football. I know I've been asked before with people, I don't have a team. Honestly, I like it that way. I like just being able to watch the games, not worrying about or how wins and losses affect me like the NFL does. I like just on a Saturday being able to flip between, oh, hey, here's Texas and Oklahoma. Here is Alabama A&M. Here's Georgia playing Auburn and just watching it for the love of the game.
Well, also with college football, especially being like from the South, like you're kind of born into it.
Yeah.
Like look at like Phil. Phil is a South Carolina fan. You know what I mean? He was born here, raised in South Carolina. Like in South Carolina, you choose like you're either a Clemson fan or a Carolina fan. Look at the kid. The kid grew up in southern, Florida. You know what I mean? He was born into it. I was born in Newport News, Virginia. You know, either you're a fucking Cavalier fan or a Hokie fan. You know what I mean? My cousin was a Hokie fan. I was a Hokie. This is what it is. It's a little different with the NFL where there's only, a specific amount of markets, and you pretty much just pick and choose who you, if you don't live near or whatever, you just pick and choose who you want to cheer. It's a little different.
Like I feel like it's the same thing too with college football where, like you said, it's because your family is enriched in it. It's like how I hear with Ole Miss, how it's generations of fans. That's all it is. And even with the other programs too, how it's those small towns, like there are people who college football means more to them than the NFL.
Yeah, down here in South Carolina, like the NFL is cool. We cheer the Panthers and all that. I mean, I never really attached to the Panthers, but a lot of people do. But it's all about the Gamecocks, all about the Tigers.
Yep.
Period. Like the Panthers could have played in Williams-Brice Stadium, but the South Carolina Gamecocks didn't want to share the stadium, and the state ruled in favor of the Gamecocks. That's how big it is down here. You know what I mean?
Even their team, I wonder how they're going to be this year, but I just don't think with Rattler, but I still think it's not going to be anything special.
Do you think he's good?
No.
Okay, well there you go. It all depends on how you feel about him. I want to know how Phil feels. I need to talk to Phil how he feels about the Gamecocks.
I think I do too. But before we go, I want to say something. You folks, if you're watching on YouTube, you see the headline, YWC Fantasy Update. What does that mean? I said it last episode. There's a YWC Football Talk Fantasy Football League. And I'm going to say who's participating in that league, apart from Andy McNamara and myself. We have both Lorenzo brothers. We have Bobby Gross. We have Danny. I have Joe Miller III, Pat Lane, Matt Beast, and Chris Ramey. Those are the 10 people. Markeem, I know you probably don't know a lot of those folks, but they're folks that have been on these episodes before.
I know all those names. I listen to the show.
Yeah, those are all the folks that have been on here. We're drafting the week of the season, September 6th. I will have weekly updates on who's playing who and who wins, and then who wins the league. So all those updates will be coming soon, but those are the 10 official participants for the first season of YWC Football Talk. Fantasy
I'm
football.
Gonna follow the league. I'll follow the league, absolutely.
Oh, I'll be following the league. I'll be giving updates. I'll be doing all that fun stuff. And anyway,
the way Danny talks, he better win.
It is a league full of dogs, and I'm just one of them in the league. And also, this is my first episode under the Dean Blundell umbrella. I don't know if you saw the tweet yesterday. Apart from being a football guy, folks.
I did see the tweet.
I am also going to be covering sports betting and hockey for that network. And this podcast is now a part of the Dean Blundell network up here in Canada. So you know where to find us. You know what to do. I'll have the links for my first article in the bio of this episode. But anyway, folks, it's been fun. We messed up some NFL names for NBA names. But Markeem, it's always great getting to talk to you. It's always a blast. We're 24 days away from the season. And the only thing I got to say is I got to go get myself some water because my throat's feeling it right now. It's about an hour and a half of talking. But you know what? It's always great talking football on a Monday. 24 days of the season. Next episode coming out Wednesday night with Mikey over as we get ready for some NFL betting talk. Have a good one, folks.